All right. It is episode 8 of Let's Meet on Twitch. Yes. Okay, it's been a while, but some video that's been circulating online has really touched something very important, and you already see it from the title. It's all about autism. So, my name is Dean. I'm autistic. I'm also the host and moderator. And a little bit about me, I was diagnosed at age 17, and at the time, it was Asperger's syndrome, and it was under the DSM-4-TR, which we will talk about the DSM. Right now, the current one is DSM-5-TR. So you can guess what edition they're using right now. And I will say that as an autistic, ever since I was diagnosed, I started out, I was in denial. I was like, what is this? What's going on? So I learned about it and I checked all the check marks and I was like, oh wow, okay. And then I did something about it. So I tried my best to be active in the community and better myself. All right. And other diagnoses, well, in terms of mental related diagnoses, that's the only one, autism. I mean, I have psoriasis, I have a skin condition as well. Sometimes they may say there's a connection between autoimmune disorders and autism. We're not going to go too deep into it. We're going to get just with the basics of it. And I want to introduce my two lovely autistic friends. And we're going to start with MJ. We're going to go clockwise. Go ahead.
Greetings and salutations. My name is MJCA. I was diagnosed with autism. I believe not at birth, but maybe at about maybe age 6 or 7. My occupation is currently a clerical associate at the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene Bureau of Early Intervention. And what does autism mean to me? Autism just to me means you learn differently, you see a little differently, and in all honesty, it's just something that just makes you a little different. But that doesn't mean that you can't function. You can.
All right. And we have Caitlin Harris.
Hi. Hi, everybody. My name is Caitlin Harris. I've been diagnosed with autism pretty much as long as I can remember, so I'm going to say since birth. And my occupation at this time is I'm a behavioral tech with a company called Proud Moments ABA, where I work with children with autism. And my other diagnostics, they're mental health related, and they're anxiety and obsession compulsion disorder. And what it means to me is that we all have a different view on life that others may not see, and we just view the world in our own perspective, and we just let our imagination go wherever anyone wants to find it.
All right. MJ has something to say. Go ahead.
I apologize for the inconvenience, guys. I honestly forgot my other diagnoses as well, so please forgive me
Oh,
for
it's
this.
fine.
I have ADHD and a learning disability. I am sorry.
It's okay.
Oh,
It happens.
oh,
I just have the
so
autism
do
part. Yeah.
I have a learning disability too.
All right. So before we go further, I'm not good with learning disabilities, to be honest. So how would they define learning disabilities?
It, it takes a little longer for one to process the information that's given. They may need to have it repeated to them more than twice, which is okay. But this is just a way so they can understand and just calculate what needs to be calculated or analyzed.
True.
All right, Caitlin, go ahead.
She's actually MJ's actually on the right track. With a learning disability, we actually had to speak with our accessibility departments in our schools, and we had to create our own little plan sheet of every modification we need, no matter the testing, how we
Wow.
want to sit, or classrooms, or teachers, and how we want to be addressed. And when we graduate, how do we want everybody in the audience to react when we go receive our diplomas? They try to go above and beyond in our learning with anyone who has a learning disability, and we receive a document that goes all the way from elementary school all the way to college, so they have access to it.
Mine was called an IEP, Individualized
Oh,
Education Program.
that's what we had. We had
Now,
IEPs.
it started out where, and remember, I was diagnosed at 17. So it started out in 1996. I was in second grade. I don't know if anyone's born, if anyone's around in 1996, but okay. So in 1996, I got IEP, and it said there that I needed counseling because I had emotional issues. At the time, we didn't diagnose. I wasn't diagnosed. I didn't know what it was. I needed extra help. I think they put me in resource room, whatever that is,
Mm-hmm.
and I had no idea what it was. I had a speech teacher with me sometimes, and what they put was glasses and something else with emotion, and then they actually added Asperger's syndrome when I got my diagnosis in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I think if I were to get diagnosed a little earlier, I would have taken care of it. But you know what? It is the past. You can't change anything about the past. You could just always improve and move forward from there, which I did. I got my doctorate 12 years ago, so that's important. That's great. All right. So with that being said, we're gonna get to the slides part. That's okay because if you, since you don't you can't see right now, the viewers are seeing it. I'll read the whole thing. Let's Meet on Twitch episode 8, all about autism. You'll see a circle there with some of the traits. And I have to read this. This is very important. Disclaimers, copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use of purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All rights of the content presented go to the content creator. All right, so no plagiarizing, right? You don't steal things. You have to cite them as best as you can, unless if it's word art or if it's something that's coming from me. The guest and I have no conflicts of interest. All right, this is all on our own. Okay, so what is autism? Or as now it's called in the DSM-5 TR, autism spectrum disorder, or ASD. That's a neurological and developmental condition that impacts how individuals communicate, whether it's verbal or nonverbal, how they interact, behave, and learn. So, DSM-5 TR is Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, 5th edition text revision. I have it in my phone. It's about what, 1,377 pages on my PDF. Who's gonna read all that? Usually, if you're in the field, that's like the Bible for psychology. So it uses two key categories of symptoms for diagnosis. The first key category is persistent deficits in social communication and social interaction across multiple contexts. The second key category is restricted repetitive patterns of behaviors, interests, or activities manifested by at least two of the following. And two of the following, it's two of the four that's stated here. It's either stereotyped or repetitive movements, use of objects or speech, insistence on sameness. So we don't like to change things. We like things to stay the same. We want everything exactly the same. Inflexible adherence to routines or ritualized patterns of behavior. Highly restricted, fixated interests of abnormal intensity or focus. Like for me, I like drugs and trains, for example. And or hyper or hypo reactivity to sensory input or unusual interest in sensory aspects of the environment. So just in summary, what is with autism? A neurodevelopmental difference, different which is different brain wiring and a natural variation affects every aspect of how of a person's being, how they perceive, experience, interact with and interpret the world. As one of you said, a minority neurology and it's lifelong. What it isn't, it's not a learning disability. Okay, so that's separate, as you pointed out, or both of you pointed out earlier. It's not an illness or a disease, which we're actually going to go over a clip. So this past Wednesday, HHS, or Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., or RFK Jr., made a speech where he said it's an epidemic. We will play that clip. And autism is not bad behavior or willful defiance. It's not caused by bad parenting. RFK, okay? Bad parents and good. It doesn't matter if it's good parents or bad parents or anywhere in between. There's there's always going to be kids with autism. Okay, it's just, you can't just say, oh, good parents lead to no autism. No, that's not true. Okay, and it affects only children. Well, it affects a lot of people. All right, it affects all ages as well. So what may occur along with autism? So you two brought up very important points. Uh, so learning a disability can come with it. Caitlin, you brought up anxiety disorders. You brought up OCD. I don't actually. Uh, MJ, you brought up ADHD. Correct? Can you
Yes.
hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure. And for me, I have OCD traits, but I'm not diagnosed with OCD. All right. So what may occur? So it's some neurological developmental conditions. So as you said, ADH. For some people like you guys, ADHD. Learning disabilities. Some people can have dyslexias or dyscalculia. I have a friend. I think I'm not going to say his name just for HIPAA reasons or just for confidentiality reasons. But he actually is not good with math. So that's under that dyscalculia thing. Intellectual disability could be part of it. Another part is sensory and gastrointestinal issues. I have that.
Mm.
Yes.
Oh.
So sensory processing disorder, gastrointestinal issues. I have a friend who has IBD, irritable bowel disease, mental health conditions, anxiety disorders, depression. There was one college student when I was in college. There was one student, one of my friends, who also had bipolar disorder. There's psychosis, but it's not very common. And then I brought up OCD. Actually, I have one friend who has all autism, ADHD, and OCD. And then there are also conditions resulting from living with autism. So some of the things include daily living difficulties and lack of life skills, which can cause anxiety. Social struggles can lead to depression, social anxiety, which you know already, and bullying or marginalization can even lead to PTSD.
Mhm.
And some history. I'm gonna do a little bit of history. So, 1943, autism was introduced by Dr. Leo Kanner, who published a paper describing 11 children with unique pattern of behavior, officially coining the term early infantile autism. This was the beginning of modern autism research. So that's 1943. 1980, autism is recognized in the DSM, it helps to distinguish it from schizophrenia. And in 1988, there was a movie called Rain Man. Who's seen Rain Man? So this one, it brings autism into the mainstream, even though it's controversial because it shows one person with autism. It raises widespread awareness and prompts new dialogue, especially about savant syndrome. So some autistics, they have this really deep knowledge of things. Now, for me, I have a deep knowledge with trains, for example. So when I see certain trains, I know which type it is, which company it's made from, etc. Okay, 1990, there is a law. There's something called IDEA, and it's called the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. Is an act guaranteeing that children with disabilities, including autism, receive a free, appropriate public education in the least restrictive environment. So we're in 2025. We have a regime that's cutting things like crazy.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's still going. I don't know what's going to happen to that. So don't quote me on it. In 2007, we have the first World Autism Awareness Day, which is April 2. And the UN, United Nations, designates that as World Autism Awareness Day, which promotes global understanding and advocacy. And in 2013, ASD, autism spectrum disorder, is officially defined. So that's when DSM-5, the original one, comes out. All right. The second version is what we call DSM-5 TR. That's the one we're currently using. But that one was made in 2022. In 2013, that's when DSM-5 came out, and it consolidates several autism-related diagnoses into autism spectrum disorder. So it could be like the classical autism, the Asperger's syndrome, which I got, for example. So it just creates that spectrum. All right, CDC statistics. In 2020, 1 in 36 children got diagnosed with ASD, and that has increased to 1 in 31 as of 2022. And in the demographics, for the rates per 1,000 children, for Asian and Pacific Islanders, 38.2 per 1,000 children, American Indian and Alaskan Native, 37.5 per 1,000 children, for African Americans, 36.6 per 1,000 children, Hispanics is 33 every 1,000 children, and for whites, Caucasians is 27.7 every 1,000. So why could autism rates be increasing? Could be many possibilities. Does anyone want to name some of the possibilities? Yes, go ahead, MJ.
Apparently, according to recent news, genetics could play a part.
What else?
True. As we were, as MJ was stating, it can be genetics based on if it's in the genetic coding from past generations. It could move into the future generations, and also environment. It could be natural, could be not natural, but any environment that the person is in could also be a possibility as well, based on circumstance.
Could be the food. It could be maybe it could be stressors. There's still a lot more studying going on, but we are making some strides. All right. So on the slide here, there are a few reasons, according to simplypsychology.com, .org rather, increased understanding of autistic experiences. So with people not knowing about it, so now they're saying, okay, I'm going to start getting screened. All right. So because not everyone gets screened. Some people they're afraid of getting screened. Yesterday, I was at an autism event in Princeton, New Jersey, and I had a person where I think she's on the spectrum, but I think there's also stress as well. She's afraid to get diagnosed because she's afraid that she could lose her license, her driver's license.
N-
She has a daughter who has ADD, autism and ADHD, and they live in almost in the middle of nowhere. And if there is a bus, it runs every hour. So she has to she has to be driving. She's afraid of losing that. So changes in the diagnostic criteria viewing autism as a spectrum, so increased understanding of autistic experiences, understanding that anyone of any gender, age, and race can be autistic, an acknowledgement that autistic people can mask. So there are people there they can mask, and then maybe they don't want to get diagnosed. But I say it's very important to get a diagnosis from a professional simply because I believe that knowledge is power, because if you don't know something, how are you going to address it? Reduced stigma can encourage more people to seek a diagnosis and recognize that people can have coexisting conditions, which we talked about earlier. Okay, so for those who are watching, there is a chart. Autism prevalence has increased 317% since the year 2000, and that's according to the Autism and Development Disabilities Monitoring Network. So that's run under the HHS. So possible causes of increasing cases, which you talked about already. Genetics. Is it genetics? Is it environmental? Expanded diagnostic criteria, increased awareness, improved access to services. So it's very important because if you don't get what the access to what you need, it's not going to lead into better outcomes. So improved screening, late diagnoses, that could also help increase the risk of autism. And it's not an epidemic, so just keep that in mind, okay? So, common autistic traits. I want to share this. What autistic traits do you have? The reason why I say that is because it's a spectrum of spectrums, in my from what I'm seeing. So we present differently. And if you only meet one person with autism, you only met one person with autism. So who can share some of their traits? Go ahead. Yes, MJ.
Well, sometimes my voice can carry, and that is honestly something that contributes to
Hmm.
autism. But I also have a memory where I can remember things that a lot of other people can't. So that's another one.
All right,
That's true.
Caitlin.
For me, it's also memory. Like I can remember some of like the weirdest fun facts in the entire universe, but like if you ask me for something basic, I'm like what? And also, I do have like like a stim. I like to.
Yeah.
I know might not sound good, but I like to crack my knuckles. That's one of my stims. It kind of helps me calm down. Like just to have like that sound, and it combines with that. And I also
It hurts.
because of OCD, it kind of goes overlaps. I am very obsessed with time. Like literally, I will stare at a clock and
Mm.
literally count the seconds.
That's kind of like me with temperatures. I think
Oh, that too. That too.
I'm going through it because I have a so I have a planner here. See? And I'm gonna open. This one has all 24 hours of each day, and I need all
Holy.
24 hours of each day. I
I'm.
write
Oh
everything
my
down.
god. Oh my
Yes.
god.
See, we can relate, right?
Yeah. It's just for
You're
me. I
not
don't like
alone.
hot weather. I just don't like hot weather. I don't know if
Okay.
that could be a thing too.
I double check a lot of things.
Say.
Finally here.
Another
All right.
another trait that is kind of autistic. It's brutal honesty. Like you're gonna be
Yeah.
straightforward no matter what the circumstance.
Oh
Mm-hmm.
yes. And I did that yesterday with one of the staff members, and some I think what I need to work on. I think many of us do, but personally for me, is to be mindful about what to say because you can still be direct, but you know also it's not
Mm-hmm.
just what you say, it's also how you say it.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to work on that as well because people say, "Oh,
Mm.
it's rude and all that." But sometimes don't be too nice. I know this is off topic. Don't because if you're too nice, they're gonna walk on you like a sidewalk. You're not gonna do that. No, you don't let anyone do that. You're a person,
Mhm.
and when you're breathing, that means you're important. I actually
Mhm.
had that conversation with someone. I don't think she's autistic, but she didn't get diagnosed. But there was a person who had a so she is addicted to Discord and board games, and she has to go in Discord in order to play. And she's on her phone all
Oh.
day. Yeah, go ahead.
Huh?
You were saying something?
I said, oh. I said,
Oh,
oh.
so there was this person who's very toxic, who's also on the spectrum, and was is a narcissist. She said, and she couldn't stop talking about it. She couldn't stop arguing her with her. So I told this person, you know, ignore it. You're done. You're done. And she just could not release it. Like you got to stop going on Discord. You got to touch grass. You need to you need to take a break from it. She's like, how do you take a break? She asked me. It's like you go out with your daughter, you go to the park if you have free time. You can't be spending all day on your phones. I know it's a lot of us are doing that. It's going to hurt your eyes, but not only that, it's going to affect you when you don't spend enough time outdoors in the sun. You got to have some physical activity and all that. And she said, but I can't block her because she'll comment and all that. It's like, look, man, look, thoughts are thoughts, okay? You say, hi, thought, how are you? You don't let it consume you. You just have coffee with the thoughts. That's an expression. You don't want to just get absorbed and have it dwell on you, or else it's going to eat you from the inside out. All right. And I say that because, life is not worth wasting. life is a terrible thing to waste. Your mind is a terrible thing to waste. You have one mind and one life and one body. Sounds like a song. But, if you screw it up, you're done. So you have to really, really take care of yourselves. Okay, so common autistic traits here, according to Simply Psychology, communication difficulties. So some people have trouble starting and maintaining conversations. Some autistics are nonverbal, or they'll just make the sounds and whatnot. There are differences in gestures, facial expressions, and eye contact, intense focus on specific topics or objects, repetitive behaviors such as motor movement, speech, or routines. I sometimes get a little clumsy, for example. So there's some motor difficulties, over and under responsive to stimuli. So some people can be sensitive to stimuli. For example, I'm very sensitive to sounds. However, with lights, it depends. I don't like bright lights, but there's some people where with the lights that I have right now, it's fluorescent lights, might be too bright for some people. Sensitivity with transitions or routine changes. I know months ago, Caitlin, you were talking to me about that.
Yeah.
Where you
Oh,
have
I
to sleep
remember that.
you have to
Uh,
sleep at a certain time.
well, guess who broke that? Guess who broke that since then? Guess who broke it?
We're human, okay? I break it all the time, okay?
No, now I can get to sleep by like 9:30 now. So yeah, yeah.
You're trying to fit all of it to 8 hours a day.
I mean, the longest I've ever slept is 10 hours. So
You're lucky. I slept 12,
yeah.
and I don't like it.
But I will say that through small steps you can improve based on what I can't see the concept based on who what that person was saying. It small steps. It can you can easily change things.
My next thing is I'm slowly getting rid of it. It's that thing. It's my rolls, my rolls, my rolls, my rolls, my lovely
Say.
rolls. Check it out. See, I'm losing a little bit of it.
Which, uh,
I call them
actually,
rolls because they're like the bread rolls.
actually, same. I'm literally going on medication because of mine. Because of mine.
Oh, pharmacist. Ooh, it it tickles my pharmacy side.
Yeah,
MJ, you
but
okay? Nah.
you alright, MJ? You alright? She's
I
alright.
don't know. When I think of my rolls, I think my there this. She says my humps, my humps, my humps, my humps, my
Oh.
lovely little humps. Check it out. My rolls, my rolls. Sometimes you gotta love your body a little bit, you know.
But actually, it does kind of go with actually one of the symptoms. Just to rewind back, it actually goes to one of the symptoms.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because it's gastrointestinal. That's right. Because there might be some dietary differences. A lot of
Mhm.
autistics, from what I learned, are very picky eaters. I'm all over the
Mhm.
place. I can be picky on sometimes, and other times I may not be picky.
Mhm.
My
Mhm.
food can.
Textures,
What is it? I'm sorry.
textures,
Yes,
they can play a
textures.
part.
It's not just the taste. And when I was young, I hated water. When I was young, I hated it. It was like, where is the taste? So that's the third thing. So first, people can be sensitive to taste or to senses such as taste. Another one
Mhm.
is you get understimulated, with senses, and then there's also the third one where sometimes you want that kind of stimuli, but a lot of it is really with sensitivity. All right, so sensitivity, I said that already. Transitions with routine changes. Challenges with understanding social norms. I suck at it. I'm I am struggling with that. Understanding social norms, because there are unwritten rules, but I like everything written. All right? That's the kind of person I am. So a lot of times, and I think one of MJ's and friend, MJ and I have a mutual friend. I suspect that he has it, but I'm not gonna say which name. But he's always trying to be very nice because he's always afraid of being disrespectful to other people. And I've had that experience too because no one wants to be rejected. All right. People with autism are also humans too. We also need love, compassion, support, friends, all those kinds of things. And we deserve just as much respect as everybody else. Also, difference in support needs. It could vary. For me, I'm a little okay. I actually have another friend who is more, I think, from Central Jersey, who actually needs more support needs, but this is how he is. There's a convention called Pan Expo, right? Have you
Mm-hmm.
heard? If you haven't heard of it, that's okay. We'll just say convention. It was in Philadelphia. So he spent his social security, disability income, all of it for 1 month, like the 1 month worth of it on merch.
Oh my god, no.
So there are support needs where you have to control your spending, for example. So a lot of, not a
Mm-hmm.
lot, but there are a handful of people where impulse people have trouble trying to control their impulses. Yeah. All right. So time management is another thing where some people with autism tend to struggle. I used to struggle with that. Now I have my book, and I'm good to go for the most part. But of course, there's all the health aspects and so on. All right. So we're gonna segue to three levels of autism support. So level one, requiring support, is minimal. So this one is for those who have trouble understanding or following social rules. I'm working on that. People got to inform us about it. Rigid or inflexible behavior, some stress during transitions, and may benefit from therapy or life skills coaching. All right. I don't have a life skills coach. I have a therapist. I do training sessions though.
Mm-hmm.
Level two, requiring substantial support. So for those with atypical social behavior, like walking away from mid-conversation, high interest in specific topics, no noticeable distress when faced with change. I think that's a lot of us. And may need
Mm-hmm.
school accommodations like reading help or social skills support. And then the third level is requiring very substantial support. So level three, those it's for people with severe communication deficits. So as we talked about earlier, some people are nonverbal. Repetitive behaviors like rocking or spinning. I actually met someone who, with like every sentence or every 10 seconds, he'll go like that. We'll have these ticks.
Mm-hmm.
What's so that can happen. When I was young, I would go like this a lot. Sometimes I'll just do this. I just move around. Sometimes I will walk around in a circle in the room and not even realize it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just some of my examples. And extreme distress when asked to switch tasks, may need one-on-one with time with an education assistant, may use augmentative, and that means something that helps improve, an alternative communication or AAC tools like picture symbols. I'm a picture person. I need maps. I need everything. I like things very detail oriented, but for some people it might be a little too much. We have a friend where if I give him a map of something, he's lost. So I actually have to bring him and give a detailed tour. He said, "Well, I'm a visual person, but he's visual plus in my opinion. So you have to really go that extra step. But again, everyone's different here. All right, so that's like the big portion of the dry material for autism. So I'm gonna bring the balls to you. No, oh, that doesn't sound right. No, I mean yeah, you know what I mean. I give you the platform. so what does the two questions here is what does autism mean for each of us? I know we talked a little bit, and what were each of our experiences, if there are any others? You want to start, Caitlin?
Yeah. Okay. Well, as I said, when it meant I was actually born with it, and let's just say, since since birth, I've been through so many social skills, life skills, occupational therapy, you name it, probably name therapy, and it kind of molded me into the person that I am. I didn't put this in here, but a bonus.
Okay.
If any, theater is a very good social skills like program for anyone who's like for anyone who is autistic,
Okay,
because
that's cool.
most of the theater program that I'm a part of right now, most of our cast is actually autistic.
Mm. All
So I
right.
will tell you that theater and any musical programming works very well to create socialization, and that's what helped me be able to do what I'm doing right now.
And you're doing great.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, MJ, what about you?
What does autism mean to me?
Sorry? Couldn't hear
Well,
you.
wait. I'm sorry. Can you hear me okay?
All
Yeah.
right, now I can hear you. Now we can hear you.
Okay. Can you please repeat the question one last time? This is
So, what
actually an
does
example.
autism mean for you, and what were
Okay.
your experiences? Some like major ones, something things that you learned from being an autistic.
Well, to be honest, I was different from everybody else. Like in my family of four, I was definitely different. And I did have, and I still do, I have sensitivity to loud noises, even though my voice is quite loud and it carries. But I honestly feel that I learned differently. Like public schools, they have like over 20 to 30 kids in each classroom. While for those of us who went to the special education schools, or even private schools, we had less than 20 in a class. So that's honestly, that was less stressful for those of us who have it. Um, in all honesty, um, autism to me is just a different way of learning, a different view on life, just being straightforward, expressing how you feel, what you are. And as for experiences, I honestly look back on my high school years and also my sensitivity to loud noises, and I'm like, okay, now I'm getting it. And to be honest, ever since my interview with Borough of Early Intervention in the Bronx, I learned to embrace my autism because, especially for a program like that, where they assist babies 0 to 3 who may have potential disabilities, especially autism, I let the interviewers know as somebody who has autism, I can honestly relate to that. So it's even more of a passion than it ever was.
I will say that I'm both proud of you as well because you're taking something that people see it with a stigma, and you're doing great things and doing your best to make a difference, both of you. Okay, and we need more people like both of you. I'm the pharmacist. I'm trying to make a difference on my end as well. But I like this. I want we want to inspire more people. Okay,
Mhm.
and you both have the ability to inspire. So I truly appreciate. That means a lot to me. Even though I'm doing okay, but it means a lot that there are more people who are doing their best in succeeding, and we need that because when people who are struggling, even those who don't have autism and they know someone who has autism, especially if they have kids or a sibling or whatnot, that gives them hope. And let's do that. We're gonna switch gears a little bit. I guess you're ready for this one, right?
Hmm.
Uh-oh.
Mm.
Okay, you're gonna get ready for that second screen. You're gonna go to the Twitch device. I mean the Twitch app. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna share a clip that really pissed us off. All three of us. I think, right? It pissed I know it pissed me off really bad.
Hmm.
All right. So we're gonna play that clip. So I'm gonna mute all of you. You're gonna switch. You're gonna switch to the Twitch app, okay?
Mhm.
I will play the clip. All right, here we go.
This is an individual tragedy as well. Autism destroys families. More importantly, it destroys our greatest resource, which are our children. These are children who should not be suffering like this. These are kids who, many of them were fully functional and regressed because of some environmental exposure into autism when they're 2 years old. And these are kids who will never pay taxes. They'll never hold a job. They'll never play baseball. They'll never write a poem. They'll never go out on a date. Many of them will never use a toilet unassisted. And we have to recognize.
Oh, shoot. Sorry.
They'll never play baseball. They'll never write a poem. They'll never go out on a date. Many of them will never use a toilet unassisted. And we have to recognize we are doing this to our children, and we need to put an end to it. This is
All right. We're gonna get back to it. Let me unmute.
Give it back. Oh, there we go. Ha! Give it back.
All right. Let's see. Sorry for the technical error. Oh, wait. Unmute. Unmute MJ. Unmute. 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 All right. I'm trying to unmute you. I'm trying to unmute you. Hold on. All right, can you hear me? Uh-oh.
Oh no. Do it.
Hold on a second.
Well, at
Okay.
least I could. There we go.
All right.
And
So I
we're back.
apologize for the technical issues. Okay. So you all saw the clip, right?
Not impressed. Not impressed.
Not impressed, right?
No.
You know, they can't do poetry. They can't hold a job. They can't pay taxes. I'm gonna bring two words. You know the two words are Elon Musk.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
Well, you know one
God.
thing right about Elon Musk, I don't think he barely paid any taxes.
That's.
Okay, but do you think Elon Musk needs assistance when going to the bathroom?
No.
Well, actually, we don't want to know that because that's a little too much. But was he able to hold a job? Well, he's a CEO
Mm-hmm.
for what SpaceX, Starlink, what is this, Tesla, which is far his cars are on fire,
Mm-hmm.
and all that. And like poetry, well, I have a poetry. I have a poem. Ready?
Ooh.
So, roses are red, violets are blue. Elon Musk launches rockets while he puts taxpayer money in his pockets. What do you think?
I think you would have done better with the Oompa Loompa Doopity Doo song.
Oh no! I want something that could trigger people. Okay, so they can start having the conversation. you know, the, the, so while Elon Musk launches rockets, he puts taxpayer money into his pockets.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yes, he does.
Yes, he does. He has Doge, not the doggy. They actually used to have a dog as the logo, but it has a dollar sign.
Oh,
Which
yeah, I remember that.
yeah, I always think of it as a dog.
Oof.
So
Oh.
this is it's really it pisses me off even when I watch it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, any other thoughts?
I got one.
Go ahead.
First of all, before I do, can you both hear me?
Yes.
Caitlin?
Caitlin,
Yeah.
you can hear MJ?
No.
Not
Oh,
this
it
again.
dropped.
All
Oh,
right, let me get out.
Oh, I can
Hold
hear you
on.
now.
okay.
I can. Oh, I could hear her though.
Shoot. Well, that's live TV right there.
But I definitely know what I want to
Yeah,
say.
go ahead. Say while we're
Well, I'm
waiting.
gonna say that honestly, everything that he's saying is just so idiotic. What a I don't know if I'm allowed to
It's not
curse in here or
factual.
am I? You know what? Fuck. What a jackass, though. Like seriously, all the stuff that he says we can't do, all of us have pretty much done.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
Um,
contradictive. It's like, how about we say something and we just send it back and we're like, here's a little compilation of what people who you say don't have all of this, and here's some famous people who were on the spectrum and did all of this. So watch it.
Yeah.
Watch your mouth, sir.
We have
Watch
three
your mouth, sir.
evidence. All right,
Yeah.
MJ. Let's see. Go ahead.
let me try this again. Can you both hear me?
Yes. I can hear you.
Caitlin?
I,
Caitlin? Okay, can you hear me,
mhm.
Caitlin?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay. As a lot of us have said, including you, Dr. Dean, autism is not a disease. Get that through your head right now. Okay? It's not. Secondly, as Caitlin pointed out, we pay our taxes, we do jobs, we can go out on dates, and vice versa. Sure, there is such a I remember I don't think it's a thing anymore, but in any aspect, there's high functioning and there is low functioning. The low functioning, yes, unfortunately, may not be able to do a lot of things. But it's like, and I understand people grouping everybody all together, but when you group something like autism, you will be very surprised. Those, for somebody who's doing it, they will be very surprised as to what they see. Because, yes, there is the low function side, which is the side that may require more assistance than others, and that's okay. That's completely understandable. And then you have the high functioning side where they can communicate, they can work, they can go on dates, they can pay their taxes, and vice versa. Like I just said previously, no matter what form of autism you have, it's going to be okay. No matter if it's low functioning or the high functioning.
We're gonna make it
It's
okay.
complete.
We have to do this
Yes.
together. We can't do this by ourselves. We have to make it okay. You know, there's protests. They protested yesterday, right? Over general things. Okay, we
Mhm.
can capitalize on that. All right. So history is on our side. I want to bring up something with high functioning, low functioning. There are people where they get offended over high functioning and low functioning. I'll explain why. All right. I said earlier that autism is a spectrum of spectrums. There are spectrums within spectrums. That's what I meant to say. And there are people where the reason why we say low functioning, high functioning, it's usually for the general term. How you say it, MJ? That's in general. Okay, but in reality, all right, just when we go deeper into it, there are people where there's high functioning in some parts and low functioning in other parts. There's one person from years ago, it was on CBS Sunday morning show, whatever it is. This person barely talks and has these tics, yet his piano skills are just beyond amazing. He can play the piano really good, like extremely high functioning, but he's low functioning in other places. So things can. So that's the complexity of autism that we're all trying to learn about. All right. Another thing I want to bring up is the symbolism for autism. So you will see that people use a puzzle piece, and other people, as sometimes it'll be a different colors of a puzzle piece, or puzzle piece in a ribbon, or anything like that. Sometimes it'll be a blue puzzle piece. Another one
Mm-mm.
is the infinity sign, preferably infinity with rainbow colors.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to get your thoughts out of those two symbols, because I've seen some, clashing friction going on in there. Who wants to start? Yes,
Ooh.
Caitlin.
Well, we were already giving our reactions and through like our own body language. Let's just say the puzzle piece. We do not support the puzzle piece at all. We are more the. It's just
Tell the
because
normies.
normies. Hello. Have you ever heard of Autism Speaks? That's the company that uses that. We do not support that
Mhm.
we as people who are autistic, we do not support that. We do not. And the infinity sign, which means that everyone is internal, which means that it's everybody, like,
Yeah,
because that's like, even in math it's like an equal, and plus
not
also it's,
equal. It's
well,
infinity
you know what
is
I meant. You know
endless,
what,
and it's
it's
episode
an
eight.
endless.
Number eight. You just turn it around. Wait,
Oh,
eight.
indirectly we did that.
This is episode eight. Yes.
And also it's because the puzzle piece can be misinterpreted because of like, because like every piece can fit, and I'm like, no. It's like, it's like, no, 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 no. Infinity, which means it'll go forever, which means that everyone can last forever. So it's kind of like, plus also the merch is cuter. That's the personal perspective. The merch is cuter, and that's how I feel about it.
Great. MJ, you got something to? I know you're itching to say something.
Say it.
Ah, itching. Yeah. So yes, as Caitlin correctly stated, yeah, it's kind of like the puzzle piece. Also, I believe represents somebody like us trying to fit in with quote unquote mainstream society. Now that's all well and good, but huge but. As she stated, the organization that uses that symbol is under a lot of fire, and to be honest, there's no way to get out of that fire. With the infinity symbol, with the infinity symbol, yes, it's endless possibilities to me. And with the colors of the rainbow there, that means more variety. So that means that, we are full of variety. Any of us who are autistic, full of variety. We have endless possibilities. For an example, I like to draw, and I actually know somebody who is autistic, and she actually contributed a comic to a book called some. It had the word spectrum in it. That's what I know. And uh, since that book was nominated for an Eisner Award, my autistic friend, who is an artist, is now recognized as an Eisner artist. So
Ooh,
she
that's
can vote on
nice.
things. That's
Very
a biggie.
congratulations. Also, with the rainbow
You-
part, it reminds me of SpongeBob. Imagination.
Yes,
I think of the
yes.
rainbow, but the
And
rainbow is
magic.
because it's a spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. But it's that's this, so normies can have something to reference, so they can get it through their thick heads. No offense, but
Mm.
so we're gonna segue to this. We're gonna think of ways on how to accommodate our autistic friends. Very important, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna talk about advocacy later. On the next slide. But how to accommodate them. First thing, this one's very personal. You have to give information in advance. Unfortunately, the gibberish guy was talking back on Wednesday, so I'm sorry we gave you a little like short notice, but I tried. So give information in advance. I like things written and or visual. I like both, but preferably written just so we can put everything in one place. If routines or plans change, warn in advance and explain the changes. If you don't, we go ballistic and go, ah, oh my goodness. And provide calm and quiet spaces. Why is that? Because we need to process our things and we get overstimulated. So there are times where we need to find a place that's quiet and calm. And that goes with when we go to events or conventions, right? Where
Mm-hmm.
things get really crowded, get really noisy. We need like a place just so we have enough space and when it's calm, it's quiet, so we can get ourselves together and recharge our batteries. Noise canceling headphones. I actually have the earphones also, so I use those. Sunglasses or tinted glasses, depending on if you have sensitivity to light. Fidget or sim items and actions. I used to have a fidget spinner. Now sometimes I just use the plushie. I just use one of those stress balls. Those you can use. Communication should be clear and specific. All right. So yesterday, one person said, sit down. All right. So when I say sit down, the person actually sat on the chair, but I didn't say sit on the chair. There's some autistics where they think sit down, they'll just sit on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, people process things differently. The next thing that I see here, oh, there's is no idioms or metaphors. Right? Some people can understand idioms and metaphors, but you want to try to avoid them unless if they know it. Right? Because a lot of autistics take things literally and at face value. Also, give the person time to process what has been said and seek clarification. Also, allow autistics to ask questions as well and ask if they have if they need help on anything. And don't expect or demand eye contact. Don't expect the person to look at you. Okay, they're already dealing with a lot, so you want to be open minded and all that. Okay, and the last slide, advocacy. What can we do to support and respect your autistic friends? Big one. Second thing, learn and understand about autism. Information, knowledge is power. Apply knowledge is even more powerful. Spread awareness and educate others. Be active in community. Join groups. Not Autism Speaks. Not that one. Okay, other ones. And do not marginalize us because we're humans. And I'm going to give the floor to you two. What are other ways to support autistics? What are other ways people can do, especially normies who can advocate for us?
Well, for example, there's actually walks like
Yes.
specifically like autism walks. Like you can actually participate and walk, and also any sometimes there's like donations, and the money will go to a good cause for anyone who is on the spectrum that can't afford any of the services. The money will go towards them receiving those services. Another one is actually going to there actually is little there's little like sometimes festivals during this month specifically,
And what
so you
month
can
is it?
go. So for example, yeah,
Yeah.
so there are multiple festivals during Autism Awareness Month where you can go and you can speak to people who are on the spectrum or speak to organizations, and any normie can learn about everything that's involved, and who knows, they can maybe volunteer at any of the organizations so they can make so they can understand what it feels like.
Exactly. MJ, what do you think? What 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 advice can you give for us autistics or those who don't have autism? Ways What are the ways that they can support us? What are the ways that they can advocate for us? What can they do?
Well, try if they can, if there's a way they can, they should put themselves in our shoes and try to understand from our aspect.
For a few miles.
However, yeah, for a few miles.
Just one,
And
few.
now, and then here's the other thing. And I actually went to a convention called Mocha Fest, which is dedicated usually to either students who do art or small artists. who make their own stories and stuff. I actually discovered something there this year. It was a calming room, and I went
Mhm.
into that calming room, and what I saw was fidgets, clicky equipment that they could use,
Mhm.
lots of seating, which was completely filled, but with good reason. Um, and to be completely honest, the people that were running that calming room or the quiet room is actually a con that they're trying to get started up here in New York City since they already have one in New England or Boston in this case. It's
Okay.
called CalmerCon. It's called CalmerCon. They're
Mhm.
really trying to find a venue in New York, and it would definitely it would definitely cater to those who are indeed autistic, who have the disabilities, and
Mhm.
and whatnot. So I think that's also a good idea, as you and Caitlin mentioned,
Yes.
autism events. Those who can also cater to the volume of the event and vice versa. If they can have a calming room as well, and also just give us a chance. Not everybody who's autistic can't not speak. I mean, honestly, I couldn't talk technically until I was 4, and that's kind of late. Now I can speak, and my favorite word is an SAT word, for goodness sake. I don't know how professional that can get as somebody who is, autistic, but you know what? It is what it is. I'm embracing it.
Yeah. It's a
Embrace it
superpower.
and
So
understand.
I told this to the person who was stressed out. You don't say disability. You replace the D as in David with a TH, and then you put a little space between the S and the A, and you get this ability. You turn from disability to this ability. That you make that into a superpower. So I'm gonna write this down. This ability is this ability. So you'll see in the comments. Like the other thing is, and goes for everybody. When you think something's impossible, even if it doesn't show the word impossible, it is related to impossible. No, I'm possible. You say to yourself, I'm possible. So you put that little thing on the right next to the I. You put a little space between the M and the P. And I'll write that down too.
Hmm.
Impossible becomes I'm possible. So those are things you want to change around. And it could really change the way you think. We can't control how we feel. We're going to feel things, all right? Especially when you touch a hot stove. You're going to say, okay. All right, but you can always decide, okay, what can I do about it? Don't touch the stove when it's too hot. Okay? There are different ways to do that. So a lot of inspiration. Oh yeah, by the way, you brought up CalmerCon, MJ. I actually have a slide on that. But don't worry. You don't see it here, but you'll see it when you watch the video. And here it is. So here's a little shameless plug for our friends at CalmerCon. So they're going to be in Meadowbrook School at 10 Farm Road at Weston, Massachusetts 02493. Their first con is in September 6th, 2025. So I guess you were wondering about that. So they're kicking it off this year.
At least in
So
Boston, yes. They just got to do New York next.
yeah. Hey, one step at a time. One step at a time. All right. So before we get to closing statements, this one is a last minute thing. I actually have videos from you, Caitlin. You want me to share those?
I mean, oh, you mean the SSI?
Yes.
Go ahead.
All right.
I will. Yeah.
You're gonna switch to the Twitch. Oh, that rhymes. Switch to the Twitch. Here we go. Mhm.
Oh, I get to see my.
Yes. Mm-mm-mm.
Autism means having a different view on life than others. And it definitely shows that sometimes looking through a different perspective can show how the world is through different eyes. Also, I will say I was born with my.
Actually, wait, this is this one.
And now I shall speak about my experience with SSI or Social Security income. I had to deal with a lot of application issues. I'm not gonna lie. Literally, my mom had to submit my application multiple times and it kept getting rejected. And then finally, I got it about maybe a year or so. And I was able to receive my Social Security money that went into my bank account, which then I transferred into my Able Now account. However, as of recently, as of I think the beginning of this month, perhaps, I received a call and they told me I had like 49 or so savings bonds that would make me go over my amount. And I was completely unaware of those. And because of that, they decided to cut my income, aka terminate it. So let's just say it's been a little chaotic. It was a little chaotic.
Oh shoot.
It was a little chaotic. Literally to the point that my mom had to email our local government, specifically our senators, so they could speak with Social Security to figure out how I can regain my benefits. And on my behalf and my mom, we literally cashed out all of those savings bonds and put them immediately into my Able Now account, hopefully to show that the money has been transferred over. Plus, on May 22nd, before Anime Boston, I'm going to be going back to the Social Security office in Hackensack and sitting down with those individuals and showing every ounce of paperwork and everything that I have done up to that point to show that I deserve my SSI and any other income in that regard.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So another important point. Oh, MJ, you can hear? Can you hear us? Okay. So you brought up a very important point, Caitlin. Advocate for yourself. If that
Yep.
guy takes things away from you, you get it back and say, "I need it, and I have the evidence to prove it."
Yep. As you saw, I literally had to go to the higher ups to be like, yo. To be like, hey.
And you're not alone. When people see that, I think I hear an echo again.
I actually do. I hear
Okay.
the essence.
Right now I hear it. Now it's good. So what I was gonna say is that there are people who will be watching this and they're probably struggling just like you are. And they're gonna
Yeah.
say, "Hey, you know what? I'm not alone. Let's do something about it." So if you
True.
want to talk to your not constituents, the politicians, so someone who's representing your district, your senators, go. Hey, I mean, you're in New Jersey, so you speak to Governor Murphy. I don't care. You go through all the rankings.
You go through the levels.
Go
Like
through the
literally speak to whoever, even in your town, if you have someone who's running your there some towns have like accessibility departments in our local government and then above. Go contact them and be like, and if you have the issue with Social Security, be like, hi, um, my office decided to remove my Social Security income. I need it because of blank, 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 blank. Mine was actually like 2 pages long because of all the benefits I was gonna lose if I lost it. I was
And also,
gonna
what
lose.
happens when you lose your benefits?
Well,
Tell them that.
well, once you lose it, you potentially lose like the money that you could pay for medical bills, medicine, and in some cases,
For people who live in
hospital
yeah.
and and for New Jersey Family Care. that's connected to that, so you might lose that card as well, which is a Medicare Medicaid card.
So it's not
The
just
good
stuff.
it's it's not just it's not just losing money that you save for that. You also lose potentially a lot of medical benefits, which could be essential to getting medication for any diagnostic that you have. So it's kind of like you're taking away or like stuff that we need to survive, in other words. It's kind of annoying because and also if I completely lose it, my mom has to submit an application and it's already been rejected that many times, so it's probably going to get rejected again.
No, you keep fighting. Okay, it's not just the
No,
three of us. Also, other people that
I will
need
say
it.
everybody
Everybody.
speak to your local governments to make sure there's more accessibility and that they are aware, and that if you have any issues, please contact your senators, and they will. And actually, they got in contact with Social Security for my case. So thank you, senators. Thank you,
Which ones?
senators.
Because I think, well, actually, Senator Cory Booker is one, and
Oh,
then I think the other one used to be Bob Anyway, that's we're not gonna
it's
get into that.
Corey. It was Corey.
He's the one who did like 25 hours plus
Yeah.
talking.
So
I was about to say,
yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're listening, I don't know if you watch these streams, but Senator Corey, thank you. Thank you. Imagine if he was. Imagine.
All right, MJ. So what do you think? How can we fight? How can we fight this? What do you think
Yeah.
about Caitlin's video?
well, in all honesty, there's a double-edged sword to it. First of all, first of all, when it comes to SSI, yes, it provides good benefits, very good benefits, and it does give the support to those that really need it. However, if if somebody who is on those starts working like, let's say a good full-time job, those unfortunately, and I do mean that very unfortunately, those Social Security is going to take notice, and when they do, they're gonna say you owe X, Y, and Z, and that
Mhm.
we are then going to, close the case. Now, I'm not saying that's a good thing. It's a terrible thing. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yes.
But unfortunately, that's also bureaucracy in a nutshell.
Mhm.
Now, I, I, it for me personally, even though I'm autistic, I, I understand there are people that need it. I do not, and I refuse to go on it because because that should go to people who really, really need it. And, if you need it, that's completely okay. I mean, it's completely okay. It's not for everybody, but if you need it and you believe you need it, do whatever it takes to get your benefits back. Do whatever it takes. Advocate. And you know what? If they try to cut Medicare and Medicaid, I've got some news for everybody. Lawsuits will be
Well,
Lawsuits.
happening.
that's actually what we're planning to do. Actually, if this doesn't work, we're going into lawsuit city.
It's gonna be.
Oh,
It'd probably be class action because it's gonna
actually,
affect. Yeah.
yeah. But also to go with what MJ was saying, I actually do need it because I don't know how to cook. I don't know how to do some basic chores, and I cannot live fully independent. So I actually need it, and if I ever want to, you know, move to different housing.
So you can be
Of
productive,
course.
and then you can make a big
Yeah.
difference in other people's lives.
Yep. And I have a part-time job and I can't do full-time because of Social Security because I have to watch the numbers. So I did get a job. It's just that I had to be careful with the numbers.
Mhm.
Forgive
Oh,
me if I pried a little too much. I didn't mean to. I promise. I didn't mean
it's
to pry.
okay.
I apologize if I did.
I pay taxes to Social Security, but that's
Don't
for
we
good
all?
causes. So
Mm-hmm.
so it's okay.
But don't we all?
I got a tax refund, so that's okay. It all works
Mhm.
out.
Uh,
Yeah.
but no,
So
I completely
I'm
understand
level
why you
one,
did it.
so I'm okay. But
Hmm.
either way, we're all autistic, and we're here to support all kinds of autistics, and even better, everyone who's dealing with disabilities or conditions, because we're getting hit by the regime. So
Hmm.
we need to support each other. All right.
We need to
Which gets
bounce back better.
yes.
Hmm.
Which gets to this closing statements. I'll be last in the closing statements. I mean, sorry, Caitlin. Looks like you were gonna say it first.
So it's okay. Well, closing statements. I would
Yes.
like to say for any of our future gen or the or future gens that are listening, or any of the norms, I would say our impact for the years for the future, try to speak with any government, even if you're not from Jersey, like any of the states that are having the issues right now in regards to this. Please speak with them. Please write letters, emails. Just don't send too many phone calls, but contact them and let them know about your feelings on more accessibility. Also, as Dean brought up, life coaching. My goal is to become a life coach for those who have disabilities, specifically autism, and then minor ones, anxiety and OCD, and then I will branch off to other disorders, because I feel that a life coach, a lot of people who are on the spectrum have never had one. So I want to be like, I know how you feel. I went through this program and I know how bad it was. Here's a program that's going to work better, and help them be able to plan a career, no matter how many modifications they have to make to their plan. I have to cross out, white out any kind of, which is literally, that's kind of my goal, is to prove that even even with a disability, anything is possible. And I will leave with a quote that my therapist gave to me, which is, I will live a life I deserve.
All right. One follow-up question. This is a message to the normotypicals or the normies or I mean, they're holistics they call it now. They have different names now. What's that one message? Another the closing statement for that for those group of people.
Please be kind, please be respectful to anybody, for any of your friends that have a disability, because you don't know what they're going to be able to do for you one day when you find out what, who knows, like one day you'll understand how they feel. So you just have to be there by their side no matter what,
That's an
because
amazing quote.
especially now.
Well, it just it's so true to it. Like it's so deep. We need this right now.
We do.
Yeah. All right, MJ, closing statements and your message to those who don't know about autism too well, or the normies.
Okay, so closing statements. Okay. Anybody, no matter how autistic one is, there will be accommodation that is going to be requested. That is also provided in the real world as well. I do believe that outside agencies, for example, the police department, they need to either have a separate section, or the police officers need to be trained on how to, not deal, but cope or try to work out when an autistic person is in distress,
Oh, de-escalate.
or they're doing, yeah,
Yes.
de-escalate, that's the word,
De-escalate.
yes,
Yes.
Mhm.
de-escalate. Thank you very much. De-escalate somebody who is autistic, who is either having a breakdown or is doing something that is not okay. Because I've been seeing some news reports.
Mhm.
An autistic teenager, unfortunately, I mean, I think they survived, but an autistic teen, there was a 911 that was placed by the parent. An
Yes.
autistic teen had a knife. Now, the
Mm.
police, unfortunately, no, I think like I said, I think they're still alive. They shot the autistic teen. That That to me, I mean, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. So just if any of you have time afterwards, look it up because I could be wrong. I'm not confident in myself in a lot of these things, and that's a problem I have. But anyway,
Wow. As a knife?
Mm-hmm.
well, the
Oh my
autistic teen had a knife,
goodness.
now,
All right.
but
I don't know if this is the
yeah.
point. Go ahead. Finish before I think this might be it. Let me see. Go ahead.
Oh, you're reading it. Okay. But I
Yeah.
think outside agencies either need to have a separate section or they need to be trained on how to de-escalate so- someone who is having a moment because they're autistic. And that's okay. We all have those moments.
Yeah,
But
just
they
like
need to
everyone
learn how to
autistic.
do it.
Correct.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And now for the normies, or the quote unquote normies in this case. Like I said,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no, like Caitlin said, be kind, respectful, do not judge. That is the one thing you should not do. Do not judge. If you think you have a sixth sense, turn it off and understand that your sixth sense will not work and that you need to see, observe, not judge, but inquire kindly
Ask
and just
questions.
Mm-hmm.
ask questions. Try to phrase them in a way we can understand or in a way that will not potentially
Respectful.
insult.
Respectful.
Respectful, that's right.
Ask questions respectfully.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ask questions respectfully. That is correct. We're always open to answering questions. It's just how you say it.
It's what
Go ahead,
and how
Doc.
you say it. As
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
especially the how. There's a difference between why are you so mad and why are you so mad? I, two different ways. And the other part is I'm happy. I'm happy. I wanted I wanted them to see the difference. So before I go over my closing statements, I actually found something. It's autistic teenager shot by Idaho police dies after being removed from life support. So this
Oh.
one is an autistic nonverbal teenage boy who was shot repeatedly by Idaho police from the other side of a chain link
Mm-hmm.
fence while he was holding a knife. Died Saturday after being removed from life support. The article is from the Associated Press, Sunday, April 13th.
I think that
Oh,
is the one. And
I
that's
think it.
something that police need to be trained on.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Caitlin,
Sorry. Whoa. Mm. Sorry. It's like whoa.
Yeah, whoa is right. Oh boy.
No,
I
it's
just
just.
found this one.
sorry, everybody.
It's okay.
Yeah.
No, it's because of someone who almost joined the PD. I'm just like, oh shit. Oh
Yeah.
shit.
So his name is Victor Perez, and our hearts, our thoughts and prayers
Agreed.
go out to his loved ones, friends, family.
Anyone who knew him,
Yeah.
anyone.
He also had cerebral palsy. So we talked about earlier how
Oh,
those with
that's
autism,
even.
yeah, those with autism also have
Oh,
other comorbidities or conditions.
And I
no.
have friends who have cerebral palsy and who are also autistic. That's not okay. This is why I said the police need to be
Yes.
trained.
Oh, also, I would say emergency medical services as well to go on that.
Everyone,
Besides the
especially essential
anybody,
workers.
I would say, in a full nutshell, any essential worker needs to be aware.
Well, I'm
Any.
aware. I'm a
I
pharmacist
know you are,
myself.
Dean. I know you are, but I'm saying anyone that is
Yeah,
isn't.
I'm not here. So here's more information. So I just found out he had been in a coma since the April 5th shooting. And tests Friday showed that he had no brain activity, said Ana Vasquez. So he had undergone several surgeries with doctors removing 9 bullets and amputating his leg. What? 9 bullets?
What the heck? 9?
Isn't
9?
like already deadly as it is?
You didn't have to do 9. You could have just did 1. You didn't have to do 9. Just saying. Or not even
More
none.
training.
None. You should have just, like, like safely
Cross.
disarmed. You shouldn't have even shot him to begin with.
They're gonna have an argument. They'll say, "Oh, that person has a knife. The police doesn't want to get be in harm's way, so they will do the last resort." I'm surprised they didn't do taser, but even tasing could be deadly too.
Especially cerebral palsy, like that also could affect like that,
Yeah,
because I know that could affect that as well. So it's like especially the electric shock, because like
oh,
And then if you get seizures, that can also do
oh
something. So
I forgot to say I have a seizure disorder while we're saying that.
yeah.
So that yeah,
That goes with the
electric no.
comorbid. It's okay. It goes with the comorbidities. I mean, not all autistics have seizures, but they do happen. Okay, they
Yeah.
really do. And stress can cause seizures. Medication can cause seizures. Even certain things cause it. And seizure, there can be different kinds of seizures as well. And medication therapy is pretty complex.
Mhm.
You know it because you deal with that. I've
Mhm.
had studies
Oh, I
on it,
know.
and there's always new things for that. Okay,
mhm.
my closing statement. My closing statement is keep being educated, keep being aware, spread awareness, spread education. All right. Know that people with autism, we're not here to hurt people.
Mhm.
We're not. We're just like everybody else. We also eat, we breathe, we drink. Well, maybe not alcohol, but some do. But gotta cut that down. But you get my drift here. We're humans. We need to breathe oxygen. We need to eat to survive. We need to breathe. We need shelter. We need clothing, just like everybody else. And we just have a different operating system, and sometimes we act a little bit differently. When you approach, as MJ said, when you approach us, ask questions, but in a respectful way. We will answer your questions. Sometimes if we're not comfortable, you know, it's okay. Respect that as well. All right. I wasn't comfortable in the beginning, but now I've gotten the strength to share that information. Of course, you got to be careful with what the information you give to people, because some people should not be responsible for some of your information. Some people aren't responsible for knowing it,
Mhm.
which segue to the normies or the allistics or the neurotypicals. All right. I'm gonna say this again. Education. Educate yourself about it. Learn about it. Get to know us. All right. Support us. All right. Take the time, even if it's a few minutes, to know about us. All right. We're not chopped liver. You kidding me? No. We're here for a reason. All right. We're not the untouchables or whatnot. We're not the don't we're not we're just like you. We bleed red. We breathe oxygen, as I said. We eat, we drink water, and all that stuff. So it's very important that you take the time to get to know us. Okay, and if you know one person with autism, you only know one person with autism. All right, so it can vary. All right, but just know that we're doing our best. We don't wish it. We just have it, and that's who we are. All right, and we're not gonna make excuses about it. Okay, that's our true selves. We're very authentic about it, and just treat with each other with respect and kindness, and help one another, because we're gonna need that. There's so much toxicity going on. All right, don't cause problems, don't cause toxicity. You know why? Because garbage in, garbage out. If you put a negativity, you become negativity. If you're trying to find solutions, you will find a solution. If you create problems, you will form more. You will make problems, whether you like it or not. That's how I see it. So I want to say thank you to both of you for coming to this really important autism stream. I want to thank you, Caitlin, for staying up to 9:32. Thank you
No
for being
problem.
patient. I did not keep track of the time.
I was. I
I
was.
well, I kept track until 8:50, and I was like, "What? What just happened here.
Oh, so I'm using my autism power, my autism magic.
Yes.
Autism magic.
Imagination. You can make
Honestly,
Oh
that
yeah.
should be like a. Honestly, I just want to end like I think SpongeBob is autistic. Just saying,
He
based
is.
on what we're
He
talking
is.
about, I think he is.
He actually he is. The
Patrick, you
voice
don't
actor,
know.
the
No.
voice actor behind SpongeBob, the voice actor behind SpongeBob confirmed it. SpongeBob
Okay,
is on the season.
Oh wow.
then we have an advocate. Go
Yes,
SpongeBob.
we have
Go.
an advocate. See, he has a
And
job
also,
too, RFK. He works for Mr. Krabs.
oh, and by the way, I forgot. I forgot something. This is very important
Yes.
because
Oh.
for those of you who believe that autism or any learning disability is contagious, it is not contagious.
It's
Mm-hmm.
not.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
I've never spread it to anyone, to be honest with you. I've seen it. But you know what's contagious? Or, shoo, hey, my name's Dean. Nice to meet you.
Uh,
That's contagious.
yeah.
It's the gift that keeps on giving, right? The
Yep.
flu or the or whichever disease it
Rona.
is, RSV and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is off topic. Wash your hands for 20 seconds, please. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like this. It's a Purell here and there. Oh, I have Purell here. Oh, here it is. There's my Purell.
Oh.
So that's off topic there, but still useful information.
Yeah.
So before we go, where can we find you on socials?
Well, I'll go because I should probably go to,
Yeah, you
you
should
know.
go to sleep. Yeah.
So I'm just going to plug my socials before I disappear, everybody. My Instagram is, forgive me, but you're on Ice fans. This is for you guys. Aerosfiggy underscore 1998. My and also when you go to that, I actually linked my YouTube account as well, so you can see any videos that I'm up to. And those are my two current socials. And if anyone is from the Jersey, okay, anyone from Jersey, I will be in person in Castle Point Anime Convention. So if anyone has any questions in IRL, I will be there and will gladly answer them.
All right. Thank
Plus,
you
it's
so
been a
much.
pleasure. It's been a pleasure, and I will catch you all in a future one if
Good
Dean
night.
invites me back.
All
Bye.
right. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Caitlin. All right. What's your socials? MJ?
Okay. I'm only gonna share one just because of. Well, no, I'm gonna share two. It's just gonna take me a bit for the blue sky. Instagram is Loki Shival, LOKISHIVAL. That's
Yes.
Instagram. And oh dear, I forgot what my blue sky was, but I am on blue sky. So if you do go to my Instagram, and ask me what my blue sky is, I'll have it mentioned in my next post when I post it. So there you have it.
And for me, I'm Wild Goldine, and you'll find it all above on the header. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Not that letter. I'm not gonna say because I don't like Elon Musk. I'm on TikTok. Of course, if you're watching on Twitch, I'm on Twitch. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Discord, and I'm on Blue Sky. All right. And I forgot there was actually numbers to it, but just type Wild Goldine on Blue Sky. You'll find me there. All right. There's actually going to be another autism episode that's in the works. All right. And this one, you know what the good thing about this, MJ? I can have up to 6 people, including myself, be part of
Hmm?
this. So far, I have three plus me. So I have 2 slots remaining. All right. I haven't even decided a date yet because I'm trying to get the I'm trying to do better in organizing this and see if I can get all the dates together, like get everyone's availability. This one, you can blame RFK Jr. on this. We didn't have a lot of, we had a short notice because of him. So it is in the works. So we're actually going to be a little bit more detailed, and we're actually gonna dive more into it. But we're gonna share some of the similar information that we shared earlier. I know it's a
And I'm
little bit
invited.
dry earlier with the information I gave, but the link will be available for this video, all right, on Twitch, and it'll be uploaded on YouTube. It'll take about maybe like what 20 minutes or so, because it's a 90 minute, more than 90 minutes. Oh wow. Okay. Anyway, so hope everyone has a good day, and please stay safe, all right, and healthy, all right, as my Twitch mod Dollar Runner says. Or please stay healthy and safe as always. All right, and hope you have a good one. And also, don't forget to support us, and don't forget to advocate for yourself, whether you have autism or not. Okay,
Be
and
kind. Be
advocate for
kind.
those who are limited in what they can do. All right, so we can make a society a much better place for everyone to live and to thrive, not just survive, to thrive. All right, thank you very much. Have a good one. See you.
See